You are not your circumstances. Again, you are not your circumstances. You can be sleeping house to house to house to house, couch to couch to couch, sleeping in your car. Trust me, I've been there all before. Hotel to hotel, barely getting it, barely having it your way. But guess what? You are not your circumstances. And that's what I had in my head when I've been in all these situations. I done been there before. But like I said, that's what I had in my head that kept me through, not identifying with where I was in life. And the only reason why I was able to do that and keep my head straight was because I knew this was just a part of my plan. Again, I knew this was just a part of my plan. This was a part of the plan to get me to where I knew I was going. And that's why I never identified with where I was, to let that allow to allow to penetrate my mind to think that I am my circumstance. That's false. So if you in a situation like that right now, where you barely having it your way, sleeping in your car, hotel to hotel, sleeping on friends' couches, you might be on the street right now. You might be at your mama's house right now. Remember, you are not your circumstances. But the only way you can walk confidently in that is if you got a plan. You got to have a plan. You got to sit down with yourself and be real with yourself about where you're going, what you want to do. Like I said before, you might not know what you want to do, but you got to find something that gets you excited. And that's going to be start you on your path, your journey. But never identify with your circumstances. Too many times we identify with our circumstances, and that starts the downfall of who we are and where we're going in life. It's that mental framework that you start framing around, that you start building around, that starts leading you down the wrong path. You may grow up in poverty. So now you identify with that poverty. And now when you identify with that poverty, you start taking on poverty mindsets, impoverished ways of thinking, impoverished ways of moving. You start forming that to be your identity. And see, a lot of times is in the black community, what we identify with more so is negative. Things that don't help us in life, things that don't catapult us, to further and higher levels. We associate with the low-hanging fruit. So it's time for us to stop that because that don't get us nowhere. Again, you are not your circumstances. Imagine if everybody in the hood who identify with their circumstance of being in the hood, disidentify with that. Again, disidentify with that. I'm not sure if that's a real word, but it's going to be a real word today. Disidentified or unidentified with their circumstance. And just knew that was a part of their plan and a part of their story for where they was going. Now they get to identify with a new image, a new mindset, a new ideology, one that's going to help benefit them for where they want to go in life. I think that's beautiful. So you could be anywhere in the world. You can be in any situation. But if you have your mindset right and you start coming up with a plan, you can overcome anything. Again, you can overcome anything. You'll be able to adapt and overcome. Again, you'll be able to adapt and overcome. That's the thing. Adapt and overcome. Don't forget to overcome. See, we adapt to a lot of situations, but we don't overcome those situations. And the overcoming is the plan. We adapt for survival. We got the survival down pat. We can survive in any situation. That's no problem. We can adapt. We are some adaptable people. But it's the overcoming. It's the not identifying with it. Because when we identify with these situations, we start coming up with a plan that's going to allow us to overcome. Again, when we identify with these situations, when we're surviving them, when we're adapting to them, once we identify with them, we can't overcome them because when you identify with something and it doesn't allow your brain to open up the plan for you to overcome and be getting better and to go into where you're really supposed to be. That's why so many of us are stuck in the hood. That's why so many of us is doing illegal activities for us to make it, for us to prosper. Because we've identified with these low-hanging fruit things, ideologies, mindsets, jobs, careers. You know what I'm saying? Low-hanging fruit careers. You know what I'm talking about. I'm not talking about, regular 9 to 5 square type work. But we've identified with these things as who we are as a person, who we are as making it our identity. And now it's hard for us to separate from it because it's hard for us to create a new identity. Because this one fits so well because we're so comfortable in it and we don't want to be uncomfortable. But remember, if you want more out of life, you have to disassociate yourself with what you've once known and understand where you are is not your circumstance. Now you're able to frame your mind around new things and grow. See, I've always said it like this. It's two types of niggas. It's two types of niggas. It's a McDonald's working nigga and a nigga who work at McDonald's. Again, it's a McDonald's working nigga and a nigga who work at McDonald's. The McDonald's working nigga, that's a nigga, that's his 9 to 5. He ain't got no plan. He flipping burgers, flipping burgers, flipping burgers. He on the fries, he on the cash register. McDonald's is just him. He ain't got no plan outside of McDonald's. He the one where somebody crack a joke about McDonald's workers, he hurt inside because he identified with that. See what I'm saying? That's a McDonald's working nigga. And now you got a nigga who just work at McDonald's. That's the nigga who flipping burgers to a Benz. This where the burgers, at McDonald's is just a part of his plan to go somewhere bigger. So he doing everything with confidence. His head is held high. You know what I'm saying? He take pride in his work. He getting that check and putting it up. He doing something with that check to move it forward in the future. He understand that this is just a part of his plan. Fry after fry after fry. Hot ass oil, cleaning the flows, whatever he got to do, he doing it. Because he understand this is just a part of his plan. So he never identifies with this. So he walks with his head held high. Like I said, he flipping burgers to a Benz. This is a step in the plan. That's why he can come to work and outwork everybody. Why? Because he did not identify with his situation. He knew this was just a part of the plan. You can't bring him down calling him, that's why you saying that's why you work at McDonald's. That don't offend him. That don't offend him. And that need to be you. You need to be the latter in that situation. Just a nigga who work at McDonald's. Because this is just a part of your plan. You gotta have that mindset when you're attacking this life right now. Wherever you are in life, you gotta have that mindset. Whether if you got $5, $10 for food today, you gotta have that mindset. That this is not who you are. This is just your situation right now. And don't put too much blame on it. Because sometimes we get in these situations not knowing how we get into these situations. Sometimes lacking knowledge. Sometimes we lean on ourselves too much. Or sometimes we lean on others too much and we get disappointed. Sometimes we just crash out. And now we got to pick up the pieces. Sometimes we was just systematically put in this position. Wherever and however you got in these situations, the first thing that you need to do is not beat yourself up. Don't beat yourself up for being in these situations. Whatever happened has happened. You could be a single mother right now. You don't identify with your situation. Because once you start identifying with being a single mother, you will start taking on those traits and characteristics. Of where now you super overprotective of anybody coming into your life that could help you. You might be missing out on a blessing because of what you identify with. It might be a man right now who's wanting to help you. Or it might be a situation that might be beneficial for you. Because of how you frame your mind and what you identify with may not allow you, like I said, to allow these blessings to come in and be fruitful upon you. Again, just because you're a single mother don't mean that you're a failure. Don't mean that you pick wrong. Shit happens. Whatever happened in your case, shit happens. You pick up the pieces, don't identify with it, because once you identify with it, that's like a stamp. Now, if you want that stamp, cool. But you don't got to identify with that. That don't got to be your reality. Same thing with the drug dealers, the pimps, the this, the this, the this. That don't got to be your identity. It's just where you currently were or where you currently are. Like I said, when you don't identify with it, it allows you to make a plan. You done adapt it. Now it's time for you to make a plan. for you to overcome these situations. I done been there before with these bullshit jobs, bullshit pay, delivering food, and I done had it my way too. So I know the difference. But throughout all, guess what? I never identified with my situation, whether I was having it my way or wasn't. I never identified with my situation because I knew the moment that I identified with it, I was gonna go down the downward spiral. I wasn't gonna be, I wasn't gonna be happy. That depression, that spirit of depression was gonna leak in. See, that's how you keep depression out. Is when you don't identify with these situations, because it's easy for depression to creep in. It's easy for anxiety to creep in. But when you don't let that be your identity, you be like, that happens to some people, but that ain't happening to me. And like I said, now it still keeps your mind open to new opportunities, to the way that universe can mold things for you and bring things to you. But the moment you identify with your situation, it turns everything off. You don't allow the fruits to come into your life. It don't allow you to see this thing that you're going through right now from an outside point of view, for you to catch different angles, to see how to maneuver out these situations or maneuver through these situations. Again, you could be sleeping in your car right now. You could be going couch to couch, hotel to hotel. You could be living in an apartment right now, sleeping on an air mattress. Whatever situation you in, and church, I done been there all. Whatever situation you in, don't identify with it. You might be a young girl dating a boy, or your last 3 relationships, everybody done did you wrong. And now you question yourself, am I even worth it? Why me? Why everybody do me wrong? And this is the same thing go for men, boys. Your past 3 relationships, somebody done did you wrong. And you sitting there, why me? Am I worth it? You not your situation. Those are just learning lessons for you. Because once you identify with that people can use you, manipulate you, lie to you, and that's all you worth, guess what? That's all you ever gonna be worth. Well, when you don't identify with that situation, and you just say that was a learning lesson, those were learning blocks for you to start picking better, for you to have better, for you to know better, for you to learn more wisdom and knowledge, hey, you're moving towards something now. Remember, you are not your circumstances. Never forget that. Don't you ever forget that. Because life is going to have its ups and downs. I'm telling you, life is going to have its ups and downs. Look at all the people who identify with their situation of being rich and being wealthy, living in Beverly Hills. I see it every day. I'm in Beverly Hills. I see it every day. They identify with their situation. They identify with their Benz and their Bentleys and their Range Rover Sports, the SV, the AMGs, the S63s. They identify with these things, the Versace, the YSL, the Goyard bags, the Erie Horn grocery stores. Yeah, they identify with all this. They identify with this. This is who they are. And you know what happens when situations happen and it all gets taken away? They crash out. They lose it. They don't know who they are anymore. They think life is crumbling down. Number one, because some of these people can't adapt to life like we can. That's number one. And number two, they done made this who they are. So they don't know who they truly are. They never was grounded in these situations when they was having it their way. They never stayed true to who they are as a person. They lost themselves. They lost their identity. They rooted their identity in all these toys and trinkets. That's why I say you can have toys and trinkets, but don't let that be you. Because one day you might have it and one day you might not. And what's going to happen on the day that you lose it? When you ain't got it no more, who are you then? But like I said, all these people frame their identity and their personality and who they are rooted in all these toys and trinkets. It allows you to be shallow, superficial. It don't allow you to connect and meet people for real. Come down to an earth level. See, all that's not reality for real. All that's not real. It's cool, it's a part of life, but it ain't real. It ain't real, it ain't something for you to form your life around. It don't have no substance. That's why when you go around in all these places and you try to have an honest conversation with people, or you try to be an honest human being, guess what? They ain't got it. They ain't got it. But to relate more back to this topic, you are not your circumstances no matter what you're going through. The ups and the downs, remember that. The ups and the downs. Because it's very important for you to remember this while you up and when you down, that you are not your circumstances. Because it's easy for us to remember we're not our circumstances when we down. And we lose our way when we up. So when you up, when you down, and you going around, don't ever forget you are not your circumstances. You create and you dictate who you are. It's all in the mind. Don't you ever forget that. It's your favorite cousin Rich. Y'all be safe out there. Love and blessings.